Hello students. In this lecture I will discuss about function. This lecture is of module 2 programming fundamental using C. I will discuss here about functions. A function is a block of code that perform a specific task. Functions is a software design technique that increases the extent to which software is composed from separate parts called the modules or functions. Functions can often be performed even where the language lacks explicit syntax or semantics to support module. The use of libraries hooked together by a linker is a common mechanism for separating parts of the software into distinct modules. Means functions makes the program modular. Segmenting a program, you can also say the segments in place of module. So segmenting a program into manageable chunks is a very important aspect to programming. There are some reasons for these segmentation. Dividing the program into a number of separate functions allow each functions to be written and tested separately. This simplifies the process of getting the total program to work. Several separate functions are easier to handle and understand than one use function. Libraries are set of functions that the people tends to use all the time. Because they have been pre-written and presented, we know that they will work, so we can use them without worrying about this code details. This will accelerate our program development by allowing us to concentrate on our own code. And it is a fundamental part of the philosophy of C language. The richness of the library greatly amplifies the power of the language. Now I will discuss the various advantages of the functions. As we already explained, functions make our program modular. We can avoid rewriting same logic code again and again in the program. If a program is very lengthy, it becomes very difficult for a programmer to handle it. Normally, larger programs are more prone to errors, and it would be a tedious job to locate and correct the errors. Therefore, such programmers should be broken down. Such programs may be broken down into a number of smaller units is called segments. You can see modularization. Programming with such an approach is called modular programming. There are many advantages of modularization in which we can discuss some advantages of modularization. It is a particular set of instructions which are to be accessed repeatedly from several different places within a program. Then we can make this group of instructions as one module and call it whenever necessary. This avoids rewriting of functions on every access. It is also called as rewriting of function on every access. It is also called reusability. Reusability is the main achievement of C functions. It allows the programmers to build a library of most commonly used subprograms. This reduces time and space complexity also. It also promotes portability, it also known as built library. There are further functions are classified in basically two categories. Number one is user defined function and second one is built-in functions. As we know, function in C can perform a particular task and supports the concept of modular programming techniques. When your program is very complicated, then you have to use functions. The function declaration divide it into smaller steps and on logics to simplify the complexity of the program. For this reason, functions are implemented. Further, functions are as shown in the slide are classified in two categories: library functions, and there are that is also known as built-in functions, and user-defined functions which are defined by the user. Library functions are built-in functions available in standard library in C language. User-defined functions are written by the programmer according to users need. Functions are basically a special type of program which perform a specific task but don't work independently as main function does. They get executed only when some other program calls them. If required, they receive data from the program that had called them. After processing the data, they may or may not return back some value to the program which had called them. It is not necessary to return the value of the function. The function contains name of the function with its type. The formal arguments to be passed in the brackets if any, and the body of the function which contains the executable statements. Now uh, there are some functions aspects also, as I have discussed here. A function must be declared globally in a C program to tell the compiler about the function name, function parameters, and return type. Function calls uh, from anywhere. Any function can be called from anywhere in the program. The parameter list must be differ in function calling and function declaration. We must pass the same number of functions as it is declared in the function declaration. And function definition contains the actual statements which are to be executed. It is the most important aspects to which the control comes when the function is called. Here we must notice that only one value can be returned from the function. The syntax of creating function, just see in the slide. Return type, function name, then data type, argument, argument 1, argument 2. This is the syntax of the function. Means first you have to write the return type, that is what type of value function will return. It may be integer, it may be other type value. Then you have to uh, uh, write a function name. Function name must be an identifier of C language according to rule. And data type, argument 1, argument 2, argument 3. You can pass number of arguments, you can define number of arguments with its data type. Then the open curly braces is indicate the opening of the definition section of the function body, that is called body of the function, and you have to return the value also, and the close curly brace indicate the end of the body of the function. So defining a function means writing an actual code for a function which does a specific and identifiable task. Suppose you are defining a function which computes the square of a given number. Then you will have to write a set of instructions to do this. Means whatever you write uh, in the body of the function, it will work according to the statements written by the user in the body section. Various different aspects of function calling are, I already told you, function may not return value, may be return value. Function without arguments and without return value. Functions without arguments and with return value. Function may be with arguments and without return value. And functions with arguments and with return value. So these aspects I will discuss further when I will write the program. This is the general form of function definition. Here you can see the type you have to write like int or char. Then you have to mention the name of function, and in the parenthesis you have to mention the various arguments. Then parameter definitions, whatever parameter you are going to pass in the function you have to mention here. Variable declaration within the function is known as local variables. Suppose you declare variables out of the function, then they may be known as global variable. Then you just write statement 1, 2, 3, statement 1, and then return value. This is the general form of the function. Here type is the data type of the return value by the function. If nothing is returned to the calling function, then data type is void. You have to just mention the void keyword before the function name. Name of the function is user defined function name. It is valid C identifier. It must be valid C identifier. And parameter list is a collection of various variables that receives the value from the calling function. And type declaration of the variable of the parameter list is parameter definition. Here return is a keyword used to send the output of the function back to the calling function. It means of communication from the called function to the calling function. There may be one more return statements. When a return is encountered, the control is transferred to the calling function. Function prototypes. What are function prototypes? Similar to just variables, all functions must be declared before they are used in a program. So it allows the declaration of function in the calling program with the help of function prototype. The general form of prototype you can see in the slide. It is start with return type function name. So you can see in the example int add. Here add underscore num is the name of function, and int is a data type, and it contains two int type variables. So the function prototype is optional in the program, but we have to understand the concept of function prototype. In this case, you can see return type of the function is int, and two arguments of type int are passed to the function. Function name add num, and add num is the name of the function. So whenever you write program and you need to mention the functions in the program, you have to, suppose you are going to write the function, you must um, uh, declare the function prototype first. So it will be very easy to identify the errors, compile the programs by the compiler. So in this case, uh, you must keep in mind that a function prototype ends with a semicolon, as I put the semicolon after the statement. In fact, a function prototype is required for those functions which are intended to be called before they are defined. In absence of prototype, the compiler will stop at the function call because it cannot do the type checking of the arguments being sent to the function. Therefore, the main purpose of function prototype is to help the compiler in static type checking of the data requirements of the function. When we place the function prototype above all the function uh, is known as global variable. As I told you earlier, or you can say global prototype. A prototype declared in global environment is available for all the functions in the program. When we place function prototype inside the definition of another function, the prototype is known as local prototype. Such declarations are primarily used by the function containing them. So it is good programming style to have global prototype for adding flexibility and enhance documentation. Function prototypes are not mandatory in C. They are desirable, however, because these help in error checking between the calls to a function and the corresponding function definition. Calling function. How we can call a function, uh, how we can define a function. With this example, I will make you understand. A function can be called or involved from another function by using its name. The function name must followed by a set of actual parameters enclosed in parentheses separated by commas. You can see the statements here. Int add numbers, int a, int b. Actually, this is prototype of the function before main. So, as I told you, when you declare prototype out of the main, then it will be global prototype. So here add numbers is the name of function, and int a and int b, two parameters passed to the function, and function will return the value which is of integer type. Here in the example before main I have mentioned int. So main function also return the integer type of values. So you have to write here various statements. You have to receive value from n1, n2 from keyboard. Then you have to write the definition of the function. At the last statement, int add numbers, int a, int b. You can see the value which you have received from keyboard as n1 and n2. It must pass to int a and int b respectively in a particular order. If you change the order of n1 and n2, it will copy the value correspondingly. Here in case of value of n1 copied to int a, and the value of n2 will copy to int b. But suppose you change the order of n1 and n2. If you write the value of n1 after n2, suppose you write first n2 and second value you write n1, then the value of n2 will copy to int a and value of n1 will copy to int b. So here order of the arguments you have to always keep in mind. It has importance here. So like this you can call the function. I will show you with the help of particular example. Return statements. Return statements is used to return the value. Here you can see there are two values, int a and b, which is passed to the add numbers from add numbers. Here add numbers called in main function, and pass the value of n1 and n2. So n1 value copied to a and value of n2 will copy to into b. And whatever operation performed here, suppose it will sum the result here. First it will sum the result here, means calculate the result, then it will return the result. Whenever this function return the result to this function, so the function add numbers value is assigned to the variable sum, and you have to write here print statement so that you can print the value of sum. So like this you can return the value to the calling function. Here with the help of example I want to show you how it works. You can see the prototype before void main. Here the previous slide I have not used void main, I have used here int main, but in the real example first I want to show here the prototype. The function name is sum. Here there are two prototypes written. Int here comma is missing, comma must be there. So this is called prototype, and the value it will return which is integer type. Now void main function will start. Here there are two variables which are of int type, that is integer a, b, and another variable is result. Here there is an error in before after int there will be no comma, so you must correct the syntax. Here the message will prompt enter the two numbers. When you execute the program, you have to enter the values a and b, and the value of a and b passed from the calling function. Here some function is called with the help of value a and b. So the function definition, see here in the function definition, this is the function definition, int sum, int x and y. Here there are two variables which are different, that is x and y, but whenever you call the function, the value of a copied to int x and the value of b copied to y. So in the case of a and b both are int type, so in this case function definition case the value of x and y must be of integer type. So here it is local variable, that is c. C equals to x plus y means value of x and y will add and assign to c. Then function sum return value c to the calling function. Means whenever this function return value of c, it will copy it to some function, and some ab function will assign this value to result. And whenever you print the value of result, it will print here with message the sum of a and b is equals to result. So once again you just check the order. First you have to scan the value of a and b, then you have to call the function. Calling function, you have to write the function name followed by semicolon, and uh, whenever you call the function, you have to you have to write the variables which value you want to pass to the function. Here I have passed the value of a to x, value of b to y. Now it will calculate here, then it will return the value to the calling function. Calling function is sum a comma b. Now whenever some function receive the result, it will assign to the result variable. Here variable you can change. I have written here result. You can, because result is an identifier, so you can change this variable name. Doesn't make any difference. So suppose you write here any other variable, then you have to also mention here the same name. So it doesn't make any difference. Now I will show you with the help of example, real example, how function actually works. Okay. Now with the help of real example, I want to show you, I want to demonstrate you how function works. So in this case, you just see the prototype int sum, int comma int, uh, as I mentioned the slide also. This is called prototype. I have used it before the main. Now it is global prototype. Prototype indicates the sum function will return the value which of integer type, and it has two parameters, means it will pass two parameters. Now there is three variables here, int a, b, another one is result, where I will store the result. When you execute this program, it will prompt the message enter two numbers. You have to enter here two numbers. It will copy it to A, another one will copy it to B. Next, the sum function, when you call this function with the parameters, the value of A and value of B, here you are going to pass. When you call this function, the value of a will copy it to integer x, and the value of b is copied to variable y. Now in this case, c equals to x plus y. This operation will perform, means value of x and y, whatever you enter from keyboard, will add and it will assign to c, and this function return the value c to the calling function. So calling function is here sum a comma b. So whenever this function return value, it will return to this function. Now this function's value will assign to result, and you are written here printf statement
to print the value of result, and gets yes just to hold the screen. Now I will show you first, just first you compile the program, you successful. Now execute the program, enter two numbers. Suppose I have entered here, sorry, first value is 10 and next value is 20. Now you can see the sum of A and B is equals to 30. How it works? I told you. 10 is assigned to value A and 20 assigned to value B. Now when you call the function, I told you how you call function. Just write the name with the help by using parameters. Whenever you call the function, the value of variable will copy to the function where you defined. B value of B is copied to Y. So calculation perform here, and this will return value to the calling function. Here just to make clear it, suppose you change the name of variable addition. Suppose you just write add, okay. Then here you have to also change the name of variable, add equals to. Here also you have to change add. Now I have just changed the name of variable. You can take any variable. It must be C identifier. Now again you have to save, then compile, then run the file. Suppose 20 given and 40. Enter, the sum of A and B will become 60. How? 20 is copied to A and 40 is assigned to B. Now value of A copied to X and value of Y, value of B is copied to Y. So this is how the function works. Now I will show you another example. Name of this function is fun1. Okay. In this case, I have taken two variables only. You can see there is no function prototype I have declared here. As I mentioned I mentioned in the slide also. Previously, I told you there is no need to declare function prototype. Function prototypes are optional, so I have not used the function prototype in this program. Only taken two variables. It will prompt message, then print the value of enter the value of x and y from keyboard. Then I have just called the function. No return value. I am not going to return value here. I have just called. How you call the function? You just write the name with its variables. I am going to pass the value of xy, but it will never return the value. So in this case, the value of x copied to A and value of y copied to B. Now this function got the values of A and B. So C is the local variable for some function here. C equals to A plus B. The addition of A and B will assign to C, and C will be printed here with the help of printf function. Now return here is 0 because there will be no return value from some function. Here one thing I want also explain you. You can call another function inside the function also. You can see here disp function. I have called here disp function, and the definition of disp function is written here. So first I will make it comments, so should not confuse. Okay, I will show you. First I will make it as a
comment test. Okay, now see this program without declaring function prototype. First I will save it, then I will compile it successful and execute it. Now you enter the value of x 10 and for y 20. Enter. Now the sum of a and b is equals to 30. Done. Now you can see here, as I told you, the prototype of function is optional part, so there is no use. But just to reduce the complexity of the compiler, it is good programming style to use the to always use the function prototype in the C program. Now I want to show you just another function I have written here, that is named as disp, which is of int type. You can see here the definition of the function disp. I have written here a function disp. This is the definition of function, and I have just called this function here. Means before printing the value of C, it will display the message, whatever message you have written. Suppose I have written here print, I am in display function. So you just see the order, the function will execute in particular order. The addition, the value after adding a and b will assign to C. Then first disp function will call. Means ki then it will display I am in display function. Then it will display this message. Means all the functions mentioning in the program are executed in a particular order specified by the user. So now you can see the program by executing. First I will compile it, okay, then run it. Now give the value 5 and 6. Now you can see before displaying the sum of a and b, it display the message written in the function disp because of the order. Here C equals to a plus b will calculate, then first it will call the disp function, whatever message written in this function will display, then it will display the sum of a and b is equals to C. So you always keep in mind the order of the functions you mention in the program. All the functions will execute in a particular order. Okay, so with the help of this example, we have learned how to a particular function works, how we can enter value from keyboard, and how we can pass value to the function, and how function return particular value. Now I will discuss about the scope rules. The range of code in the program over which a variable has a meaning is called scope of the variable. In the simple word, the scope of a variable decides how it works, how it can be accessed by the different parts of the program. In fact, there are three types of scopes in C, that is local scope, file scope, and function scope. First I will discuss about local scope. We know that a block in C is surrounded by a pair of curly braces. That is, you can see in slide curly braces. There are 4 curly braces, open curly braces and closed curly braces, which decide the scope of a particular scope segment of code. We can declare variable inside the block. Such variables are called as a local and can be referenced only within the body of the block. When the control of the program execution reaches the opening brace, these variables comes into existence and get destroyed as soon as the control leaves the block through the closing brace. It may be noted that here the variables are available to all the blocks enclosed by the block in which they have been declared. In the example, you can see the scope of a variable x in the while loop block and that of variable x, variable y in if block. Now the variable x can also be referenced in the if block because this block is completely enclosed in the while block. On the other hand, the scope of variable y is only the if block. Since a function is a block in itself, all the variables declared in it have the local scope. Now, uh, the next scope, that is function scope. The function scope pertains to the variable declared in a function in the sense that a variable can be used anywhere in the function in which it is declared. Thus, we can use different variables with the same name in the different function. The scope rules can be uh, as explained as a local variable can be accessed only within the block in which it is declared. The local variable declared in a function exists only during the execution of the function. Therefore, these variables are also called automatic variables because they are automatically created and destroyed. Since global variables are not declared in a particular function, they are available to all the functions. Thus, the scope of a global variable encompasses the entire program. The scope of a formal parameters is local to the function in which it is defined. Since a main program could contain many functions, in fact, a function can contain other function. One may ask the various questions. Could a function use a variable declared in the main program? Could a main program use a variable declared in one of its function? The scope rules answer these questions. The scope rules tell us if an entry is visible or accessible of certain place. So place where an entity can be accessed or visible is referred to the scope of that entity. The simple rule is the scope of an entity is the program or function in which it is declared. A global entity is visible to all contained function, including the function in which that entity is declared. An entity declared in scope of another entity is always a different entity even if their names are identical. Now, I will discuss about file scope that is very important also. Since global variables are declared outside all blocks and functions, they are available to all the blocks and functions. Thus, the scope of a global variable encompasses the entire program file. So now I will discuss about the various types of variables. Variables are basically divided into two parts. We have discussed in previous lectures about variables in detail. I will just give you an overview of these variables. The local variable and global variables. There are two basic type of variables. The local variables are defined inside the function body or in a compound statement other than the formal arguments. The scope of such variables is inside a function where they are defined. They had no identity outside that function. Identifiers declared as a label, constant, type, variables, and even function are defined inside a block which are said to be local variables or parameters of that particular block. So there are some global variable also. Global variables are defined outside the main function, that is after the declaration of header files. These variables had permanent identity throughout the program. In other words, we can say these variables are referred by some data types and by some name throughout the program in both the calling portion of the program and in the function also. The initial value assigned to the global variables does not change at any course of the program. Therefore, it is advisable to take these variables as global whose value does not change in the whole program. And in the previous lectures, we have seen the various examples of variables and its various types as local variable and global variable, and further I will discuss about the functions in detail in next lecture. Thank you.